The Country Roads Trust is hard at work getting your players to play for your Mountaineers each and every day in the offseason, and they're doing it right now. We just saw 6 yesterday. We saw a couple more after that. We're going to talk a little bit about some of those guys, and we're going to project some things. We're going to talk about Country Roads Trust and everything that's been going on. I've got the head honcho, Stephen Ward, right after this word from our sponsor.
This episode was brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory today across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
This is for Cameron.
What is up, guys? Welcome in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. This is another episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. Really appreciate you guys for checking back in with me today, guys. It's really great to have the support, and really speaking of that, we brought somebody on today that a lot of you guys liked when we had him on our Hoops from the Hills channel, and he's extremely knowledgeable. He's somebody that's plugged in, down to earth, somebody I really enjoy conversating with, and this is the general manager and chief operating officer of Country Roads Trust. We're talking about Mr. Stephen Ford. How are we doing, brother?
Paul, how are you, man? Thanks for having me on.
So off camera, we were talking about, and you're welcome, this push, man, and the fan base at large, that it's kind of, people just out there in whether it be social media, different avenues, this membership push, man. How has it been from your side of things when you get something like this, when the fans are so involved with the team like this, and really just pushing this thing like they have been?
Well, first, it's exciting. It's good to know that we've got such a strong support base with the Mountaineer fans. I'll tell you what, winning cures everything, right? It makes our jobs a lot easier. I think we wanted to be very transparent with fan base, our members, donors, sponsors, you name it, our followers. We wanted to be transparent in where we were at. Do I think we were where we needed to be? No. I think that there was a good opportunity for us to share where we were, let the fan base know, where we're at that number. I think we were a little over 700, and let everybody make the decision themselves on whether they not wanted to support or not, whether or not they want to get on board. But I'll tell you what, over this last, I think since the 26th of November, we've gained over 400 members. We're now sitting, as of right now, we're sitting over 1,100 members. We've got some cool things that we're going to be giving away, at every milestone, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. But it's exciting for us, and it helps us do our jobs and being able to go create NIL opportunities for our student athletes. In this time of year, football retention, football portal, extremely important. So it could not have come out at a better time. But if you look around the country, Paul, we're not the only ones that are doing our pushes right now, right? You've got SEC schools, you've got Big Ten schools that are doing the exact same thing, that they are pushing and pushing and pushing, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a robust NIL, backing and through the collectives, you'll be left in the dust, right? I think that we're all used to being, top 25 football program, top 25 basketball program, but not like put football and basketball out of it, right? We've always had a storied women's soccer program, but look at what's going on in women's basketball right now, 8-0. Right, just had a top 25 win. Baseball was all the way up to top 10 in the country, Big 12 champions. So it's not just the football and basketball, that's important to us. We want to make sure that we have all of our programs at the top. But I think this past year, 2023 with football goes to show, look, it doesn't take a ton, right, to put together 8-4 season. And kudos to Coach Brown. We're so happy for him, so proud of him. And we're
looking against it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to building on that. And this all started last week, meeting with, the season ended. So meeting with a lot of the current athletes and I've told you this before, retention's our biggest priority. Right. And so this membership push cannot come at a better time. And I can't thank our followers, our fan base, current members, ones that have been with us since the beginning. I cannot thank you guys enough. It means so much to us. It means so much to the kids. So, we want to keep this push going.
Absolutely, man. And love that you guys have incentives for the fans to look at for whenever you get to certain membership numbers and levels. And I'm sure that's only going to get better as the thing gets, as it gets bigger and larger, because really we're still in the beginning phases of this thing. It's only going to get better, as more people around the state and surrounding areas get more involved. It's only going to get better and bigger, and it's going to have to, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. Got to congratulate you guys for the first 8 guys you rolled out as members of the Country Roads Trust. I don't think you could ask for much more. The guys, first of all, the number one offensive line in the Big 12, absolutely, and certainly it's outside of Michigan, probably, in my opinion, the best in the country. Very underrated offensive line. Those guys are mostly going to be back intact, and I'm sure there are conversations going on with other players. Whenever I looked at the roster personally, I'm not a coach, but I do watch a lot of sports. That is exactly where I would have started. And I really want to give you guys a lot of credit for looking to Wyatt Milam and those guys and Tomas Remack and Brandon Yates, stalwarts up front, and other guys. There's not, obviously Traylon Ray is an up-and-coming wide receiver. Just Preston Fox had a really good year, and what he did when he was the catch he made against Baylor that knocked him out will be in Mountaineer memories forever. And you guys have really been, in my opinion, good at getting guys close to home first, and I think that was obvious with what you did. Kudos to you guys, man. I was excited yesterday, and my listeners in the thousands came to watch the video I put out about it, and really excited about all that, and just wanted to give you guys a congratulations for that. That was a great start to the off season.
Thank you. Yeah, and just touch on those guys. We're excited to be working with them. Our sponsors are really excited to work with them. And that's part of the membership stuff too, right? Like, when we host events, those guys will be there, so they'll be able to have access, autographs, all of that. And they're excited to be working with our folks too, because we would not have been able to go and do these NIL deals with them without that support. We're doing really well, and I think that's why we're able to do this stuff so early on in the portal season. We got a lot of work to do with current roster. We're still working through some things with a bunch of the guys. I think fans will be pleased over these next couple weeks. That and as well as the portal. The biggest thing, and I'm sure everybody understands this, is the roster retention is everybody, not just West Virginia, but it's across the country. It's everybody's priority, and that's keeping you guys developing them and making sure that they're taken care of from an NIL perspective. Because, let's be honest, that's what's important to a lot of these guys now, right? And everybody has a different story, whether they're taking care of a sick family member, they've got kids, they're having to send money back home. So everybody's got a different story, and we want to help out the best that we can. But locking some of these guys down early on was really important for us.
Absolutely. And then when you look at it, you got something to sell right off the bat. You got 2 things you can sell, in my opinion. You can go to prospective portal players in the portal, which I know we can't get into specifics, and say, hey, wide receiver that can get deep real quick. We got one of the best deep throwers in the country. He's locked down. Oh, hey, prospective tight end or running back or whoever. We got one of the best, 3 of the best offensive linemen in the Big 12 locked down. You start to look at that nucleus and look, you can be a part of something that's successful. And to me, it was no brainer that you guys did that, locked those guys down, and now you got something to sell, which I love that. I think something that, I was talking to Coos earlier, and we were talking about these deals, how they work year to year, because we were kind of questioning certain things like, okay, well, we know CJ had an NIL deal before last year, or in the off season last year. How does that work coming in? Is it something that reads up every year? Do you come back to the table every year? Can you do them 2 years, 3 years in advance? I think that's something not a lot of people know.
Yeah. So let's just talk about how we're able to raise money, right? Through the memberships and subscriptions, which we just talked about, doing really well. Through corporate sponsorships, that's going to be the biggest key for us if we're going to scale NIL here. That's how we're going to be able to do it. So the local, statewide, national brands that want to work with us, work with our athletes, for the most part, a lot of those sponsors are on long-term deals. So that's why I'm able to go to these athletes now when the season ends and say, hey, we're going to be working with sponsors A through Z, right, for the season. Typically you don't want to do longer than a year because, portal stuff happens and things change. Sometimes kids just want to change the scenery. And we don't want to lock ourselves into things that, won't play out well on the business side for us. And for them too, like if they don't want to lock themselves into a deal that, where they increase their value over the year and, they feel undervalued when it goes into year two. So we want to give everybody the fairest opportunity to make money year to year, right? Because every year you're doing evaluations. And for us on the business side, we still got to raise the money, right? Because we're not able to do the deals with the guys without raising money through the sponsors, without raising money through the donors and through the membership platform. But we've done well enough this year heading into next year that we're able to get a lot of these guys locked down pretty early on.
Gotcha. Here's a question that I wrote down, and that it kind of encompasses probably 3 or 4 different questions I got. So I'm going to read it here from my phone, but I titled it Transparency and Governance. In the interest of transparency, how does Country Roads Trust ensure fair and ethical management of funds and opportunities? Can you elaborate on governance structure, on the governance structure that oversees these decisions?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So, and I've talked about this a lot, especially out in public. We're a private, for-profit LLC. Look, my goal, my job here is to manage the staff that we have. Make sure that we are a good functioning business, and that we're raising money, doing things on the marketing side with our sponsors, doing the events with our members. When it comes to the fairness of who gets what, so really it with all the Title IX stuff that's going on right now, with what the NCAA just put out, we try to be as fair as we possibly can to every program, right? And I believe I mentioned on your show last time the major gift that we had for women's basketball. Well, they this individual wanted that money to be earmarked for women's basketball, and we absolutely will honor that, right? So while they might not be getting some of the deals that, say, a men's basketball team would be getting, they're getting fair share from other big 12 schools out there. I'm talking about the women's basketball program, and now Coach Kellogg's got a lot to work with for the next 4 or 5 years with this gift. So it depends on what program we're looking at, Paul. We try to be fair to everybody. We try to get everybody a deal, but the opportunities have to come, right? They have to come. It could be for the wrestling program, which did some really good fundraising this year. It could come for gymnastics. If the opportunity comes for any of those sports, we will definitely navigate those deals for the athletes, and then pass it along to them and help them activate it. But as from a governance standpoint, really we rely on what we get back from the programs, the coaches themselves. It could be somebody that oversees the roster or recruiting, all of that. and then that's how we typically divvy it out per se.
Awesome, man. Appreciate that answer. So community involvement, future initiatives. How does Country Roads Trust plan to engage with the local community and WVU alumni? Are there any upcoming initiatives or partnerships that fans and supporters should be excited about? And this kind of segues into the bourbon thing, the alcohol thing
Sure.
as well.
Yeah, so let me just touch on community engagement real quick. We did launch a couple days ago. MVB, who's been a longtime partner of ours since the very get go. What we're going to be doing out in the community, solely focused on what anybody can come in and say, hey, we need a couple athletes to come read to our middle school, read to the elementary school, come to a camp, right? Go help feed the homeless at Ronald McDonald House, you name it. So we did put that platform out there, and so hopefully we have some organizations reach out because we're happy to help, right? That's how we're able to knock out some of the quid pro quo. So we're killing a few birds with one stone, Paul. We're putting the guys out in the community, showing that they're good stewards of the state. They're able to put a little bit of money on their pocket, and we're able to help out these charities in any way that they need to.
Awesome.
One deal too. We'll look at the Special Olympics and the polar plunge. That's something that we partner with every year. And this upcoming year, we're going to pay homage to Dale Wolfley, was a good friend of mine, who was a big supporter of Special Olympics. So we're going to be doing quite a bit with them come January and February. So those are just a few things I want to touch on the community side. So anybody listening, if you got an organization, if you're administrator at a middle school or elementary school, please reach out. Please go to our website in the community. Please fill out that form, and we'll be in touch and get some athletes over to your organization. Now, when it comes to the events, when it has to do with our donors and our members, we're going to be doing planning here for 2024 in the next couple of weeks. You will see a lot more in-person events from us. We're going to try to knock some things out one a month. We're going to try to travel around the region, the state, Charleston, Martinsburg. We're doing an event out there in early February, but we're going to be doing a lot more, especially with this membership push to get everybody involved, get them together. Let's have a little bit of fun. And then the bourbon thing, I'm glad you brought that up. So just so that everybody knows what kind of perks you get with the memberships, well, we opened up the bourbon sales to our members first. So they were actually the first ones to be able to pre-order. Well, they sold out of that in about 10 minutes. So those are the perks, kind of the perks of the of memberships. And anybody that did purchase in that first window, we're hosting an event next Wednesday for anybody that did buy a bottle. Where you can come in and we have some drinks, have some food, and we hang out and have a good time. But that's all started out around the bourbon, and we're going to continue to do things like that.
Awesome, man. Something I was wondering the other day, like obviously you cut your teeth in Learfield, right? Mm-hmm. You were there 8 years. That's a lot of hats you had to wear, I'm sure, while you were there. Similarly, as the COO of the trust, you've got athletes, you've got sponsorships, you've got the partnerships. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges of being the COO of the Country Roads Trust and what it's like balancing all that?
You sound like some of the folks that are in my office and on the team. I pride myself on doing what's right for West Virginia, doing what's right for athletics at WVU, no matter what I'm doing, right? I want to get my community service hours in. I always tell my staff that, when I went and helped out Toys for Tots on Saturday, it feels good to be out in the community. If I want to practice what I preach, I'm going to get out in the community. I'm going to do it myself. But
absolutely,
I do wear a ton of hats. I can't stress enough how important the team that I have on the ground here is. We just brought in Chase Harler. Taylor Haig, one of my teams, a rock star. Madison Hudson, really crushing it on social media. Amanda Maisie, everybody knows who she is, amazing. Grant Dovey. I can't say enough about who I have here. I would be lost I can say this with confidence. I would be lost without the team I have. But they help me keep it together, right? Aside from the fundraising, from making sure that all the guys and girls, athletes are all taken care of. They're the support that makes this thing go. So anytime anybody sees any of them out, it is all about them too. That they put in so much work. We work long hours. This isn't 8 to 5 job, right? Like this is a lifestyle, a career. You're working Saturdays, sometimes working Sundays. You're working into the night. We're traveling. So I can't say enough about my team, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without them.
And I've had the pleasure of having on one show or another, whether it be Chase Harler, whether that be Amanda Maisie, all great people, all basically, whether it be Amanda's case, she's awesome at what she does. Chase, man, he played for West Virginia, loved working with Chase. He had a lot of inside knowledge as far as just what he has to do as part of the Country Roads Trust, and I love kind of what he gets to do, the job he gets to do at the Country Roads Trust. And it's really cool how many jobs, I think that doesn't get talked about, but jobs you guys provide for people, man, whether that's former players or whoever. And I think that's something that's going to continue to give back as well.
Absolutely. And I'm sure everybody understands, we don't have a big staff, and we want to keep it that way. Right. Because, if I start growing staff, our investors are having to put in more money to cover salaries and expenses and all that. So we want to keep that as low as we possibly can, so that the more money we bring in, the more money that goes out to the athlete. That's all we care about. Yes, I do a lot for a lot of different pieces of this business, but I'm telling you, I don't like talking about myself. I like to talk about my team. They are what makes this thing go around, and what makes this successful. And if this push that we're doing right now, I mean, they are laser focused on getting to this 1,500. So anybody listening, if you see them out on Twitter or see them out in public, I want them to know how much I value them and how appreciative. And they hear this from me all the time. But I want everybody to know, like, everybody here works so hard, and long hours, weekends. But I'm truly blessed to have the team here.
So, guys, let us know down in the comments if you don't know how to get to Country Roads Trust and their website to become a member. It's you can get there for a little bit less than $20 a month. Is that right?
Correct.
And it scales from there. But I mean, if all you got is $20 a month, you can get there for that, and there's still perks involved with that.
Yeah, $18.67 a month. And look, if we totally understand, and we will never knock anybody for not supporting the trust. We encourage everybody to do what they can afford, and even if they want to do a one-time donation, whether it's $5, $10. Look, it all adds up. It all goes into the pot. So what anybody can afford, we'll never knock anybody for not giving because they don't have the means to. We totally understand, right? We have a ton of supporters who will and can, but I don't want to ever knock anybody that cannot. If they want to do a $5 donation, $10, again, it all adds up.
Absolutely. And obviously, you have your different social media handles. So Country Roads Trust has their separate ones. I've got it scrolling on the bottom of the screen for you, but can you just kind of verbally tell everybody where they can find you on social media as well as the Country Roads Trust?
Yeah, you can find Country Roads Trust on Twitter. It's Country RDS Trust. So it's at Country RDS Trust. Our Instagram is Country Roads Trust. Our Facebook is Country Roads Trust. My Twitter handles is Stephen Ford WVU, at Stephen Ford WVU.
And is there anything else that you want to get out there as far as, obviously we're doing this membership push? is there anything else that's affiliated with that? As far as I know, you had mentioned like you can get away tickets to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, different things like that. I'm sure stuff like that's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just giving $20 away. You're also it's kind of like playing the lottery. You got a shot.
Yeah, and you can't
You
win
don't
if
got
you're
a
not a
shot if you
member,
don't put your hat
right?
in the
You
ring.
can't, you can't win if you're not a member. We just
Right.
announced we're going to be giving away 2 tickets to our suite for the Penn State game.
Okay.
And I'll share this with you before we share with anybody else. But our biggest one is the 1,500 mark. If we can do that by next Friday, we're going to be flying the winner and a guest out to Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament, basketball tournament in March.
Wow.
We'll cover round trip flights, we'll cover tickets, and we'll cover hotel accommodations for as long as West Virginia is in the tournament. So I think everybody's going to be excited about that. It's going to, and hopefully we get a good push. But I will tell everybody that's either listening or anybody that wants to hear. Everybody's support is so appreciated, not just with us, but with Ren and the programs and the athletes. They're so appreciative of everything, and we would not be able to do it without the members, the sponsors, the donors. So my gratitude goes out to everybody, all the supporters for WVU, and people like you, Paul. Man, you guys carry our flag, so I can't thank you enough.
Always will. I love what you guys do, and I've really started growing to like you guys. I mean, I don't know you personally, but we talk from time to time, and same thing with Amanda. And it's hard not to like you guys, man. Just as people, not sitting that's separate from just what you do with the trust. So I'm in your corner. Whatever I can do, I would sponsor the trust on this channel forever. For nothing. If I would, and I try to bring it up as much as I can. So it's always going to be something that's in the forefront of my mind because at the end of the day, this is what I'm doing this for. It's for them guys in gold and blue. So love to support it, always will, and anybody that doesn't get the heck on. So that's the way I look at it, and appreciate you guys, man. So
you got it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I'm really bad about asking for that in the beginning, especially when I've got a guest I'm excited about. So don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments. Was there any questions that I missed for Steven? We can get a hold of him on social media, maybe re-ask those questions. There were certain questions you guys asked that I'm just not going to ask because it would be putting him on the spot, and he would have to talk around it anyway. So there were certain things I just couldn't ask, guys. I'm sure you understand that, but I tried to get to the bulk of it. I tried to lump a few together. Hope you enjoyed that. Steven, is there anything else you'd like to get to before we go?
No, incredible year for football. Not up to the greatest start, but look, I think some dominoes are gonna fall for men's basketball this year. So let's keep that going. Women's sports or women's basketball 8-0, men's soccer Final Four on Friday.
There's a lot to be excited about.
It's a good time to be a Mountaineer right now. I will say that.
Absolutely.
So thanks everybody for their support.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over, and Steven and I are out.